How do you feel as you move through the world? I mean, you're someone who uh, loves the topic of identity. It's come up a number of times already in this conversation, one of the themes. And, it's a kind of a weird question to ask or answer, but like, how do you feel as you move through the world? Like I feel like a man, I feel like an Indian, I feel like an American. There's so many different things. I'm a Pisces. I don't really identify much as a Pisces, even though I am. What are the ones that resonate with you about yourself where you're going, yeah, that's primarily what I lead with?
I mean, that's a great question because I think, it's interesting when you grow up in a place that where you're not from, in terms of the, culture, the dominant religion, you're an expat. I think you have the capacity to kind of really find, a certain comfort in home where you are and you kind of land and absorb. I don't know how to describe it, but I used this analogy with some friends the other day. So perhaps it's this, not necessarily how I move through life, but maybe my general attitude. And unfortunately, I will say the lotus flower seems to have been co-opted by the very right-wing Hindu government in India right now. But I do think that, like a lotus, you are floating in a river, but you do have roots.
Mm,
And the roots can attach to different banks or branches or places where it needs to find a place at that moment. But then, when the currents change, it's going to move again. So
mm,
I think my way of moving in the room has a sense of openness. And I'm not necessarily thinking about myself, really. I'm just, in terms of my identity in those moments, I'm going and I'm actually really kind of absorbing and then reacting based on where those conversations or those interactions lie. Because I'm reacting based on how someone is perceiving me. And I know who I am, but, it's like, but I'm not necessarily in that moment, like, being like, I'm South Asian, I'm a woman, I'm this. I'm really just a person in the world in this moment right now.
yeah, yeah, that's good.
I mean, but it'll be somebody else who'll remind me of my gender, frankly,
Mhm.
unless I'm on my period. It'll be someone else who'll tell me, like, you know, like say something that makes me self-conscious about the color of my skin,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm. It'll come externally as opposed to something that you're
Yeah.